One of the things that is fascinating to me is the fact that people want to be someone else, even if it is for a day. I have seen many people asking others, "Who would you be if you can be anyone for a day?" The answers range from fun to interesting to downright questionable. I have heard people wanting to be Meryl Streep, Charlie Chaplin, Marilyn Monroe, and even Hitler. That is not ideal. However, none of these people pay attention to the whole logistics of this a day in someone's life game. As an introvert with social anxiety as companion, I have had an extensive inner dialogue with myself, and I have gone through different scenarios to understand who the best candidate would be for this. Let's take an imaginary walk. Imagine that, like Purge, a day where you can do any crime, you also get another day called Merge? Yes, let's call it Merge. On this day, you wake up in a different body. But here is the catch. You think that only you switched the place, and no one knows that you are not you, and the person you switched with is not that person. Everyone is pretending to be the person they switched the bodies with, forever keeping the merge a secret. Secretly sweating in the bodies that do not belong to them, waiting and waiting for the clock to strike midnight so all of you can return. But here is another catch. This happens all around the world, so you do not know which time zone you ended up with and whether you will return to your original body according to the time zone you switched with or your original time zone. Everything is a mess and you have no one to turn to because you are not you and nobody can know. In all of this, we first need to establish who you are. Now, in your life, you are a highly introverted person with social anxiety to boot. Because, of course, you are. This aspect of you is the reason that you decided to be a freelancer rather than hold a traditional job. And you only go out when it is absolutely necessary. Even then, it is an extremely dreadful task. Couldn't be me though. Now, let's talk about scenarios. Scenario 1. You end up in an old person's body. You wake up in an unknown house and you realize that it is that time of the year. You are not you. There is a sharp pain in your back, your body is heavy, hard to move, and you are in pain all over. You need something for the pain which is growing every second. Where are your meds? You need your medication. Are you terminally sick? Nope. It is just the old age. No matter what you do and where you go, the pain follows you. You have things to do, but your body cannot keep up with all the chores. You are also walking slower than usual, and your joints are always sore. You want to call someone for help, but you do not know who to contact. You are in pain, and you want to cry. Fortunately, you somehow make it through the day, go to sleep, and wake up in your body. Congratulations, you have now unlocked a new fear: old age. Now you know what will happen to your body as you age, and you can add it to your list of things that make you anxious. Good for you. Scenario 2. You are a child. You wake up and realize that you are a child. Okay, so there are no expectations of you yet. This might even be easy. You get up from your bed. Something is different. Something is very different. You feel like you have just had 1,000 cups of coffee. You have so much energy. You can even take on the world. Fortunately, you are tiny and there is no need for that. So you have a blissful day playing around the house. But as the day passes, the dread starts to set in. You will have to return soon to your reality, where you have so many responsibilities and absolutely no energy. And then it happens. You return to your body. The day before was nice. You got to be a child without having to worry about expenses and bills. You had so much energy, but now you just want to sleep. As you go about your life, you remember how much energy you used to have before the world happened to you. Not a very nice experience. But hey, it was a good break from your routine. Scenario 3. You are in an extrovert's body. As an introvert, an extrovert's energy can be a lot. So if we have an extrovert in our lives, we need constant break from them. Otherwise, we will evaporate into smoke due to the amount of energy that would be expended. So, imagine waking up in the body of an extrovert. It is an introvert's worst nightmare because an extrovert knows everyone. So, even if they are looking out the window, chances are that if 100 people walk past that window, the extrovert would know them and would engage in a conversation with them. I once had a friend in university who was extremely extroverted, and a simple walk to and from the cafeteria would take ages as they would stop and chat with anyone and everyone that would cross their path. This made getting food from the cafeteria such a hassle that I told them that I would get the food while they chat up a storm with the world. To this they said, "Oh my god, you're so nice." No, I was very hungry. I don't like anyone or anything coming in the way of my food. Being nice had nothing to do with it. So now you can imagine the horror of waking up in a body of such a person. Your only option is to employ your introvert superpowers and make no contact with the outside world for the next 24 hours. Just hope this person does not live in a shared living space, as chances of that are extremely high. I have never met an extrovert that lives alone. Anyway, extroverts would be, in my opinion, the worst option when the swap happens. Your social anxiety itself will have a heart attack. So good luck with that. Scenario 4. The opposite gender. Waking up in another body is traumatic enough. Imagine waking up in a body of a different gender. You have no idea how their biology works, and it feels like a violation of higher level, mentally for you and physically for that body. That is one of the trauma that would be hard to recover from. I will leave the problems that will occur with this scenario to your imagination. But just for fun, imagine being a guy and then ending up in a woman's body who is experienced that time of the month. You can see how this can be extremely traumatic. Scenario 5. Person of different height. I am a short person, and according to my brother, I might even be the shortest person on earth. But he's a brother, and those things are mean. So let's go with the short person. Now imagine that you are also a short person, and all your life your vantage point has been small. However, on the day of the merge, you wake up in a tall person's body. You can now easily reach upper shelf of the cabinet without having to drag a chair to help you reach the higher places. You now also have a bigger vantage point, so the things that used to block your view are no longer coming in your way, as now you can see over them. Before it was like, ah yes, I see a chair. Is there something behind this chair? I may never know. However, now you would know what is behind that chair. Your world has expanded, and now you can see more than you used to see and reach much higher places than you used to reach. So, when you return to your body, you will not have FOMO. Instead, you will have FOYADMO, the fear of I am definitely missing out. And the next time you will drag a chair to reach a higher place, you will be reminded of the day when you reached the higher shelf without any assistance. In the reverse scenario, if you are a tall person and you end up in a short person's body, you will be utterly confused when your arms are not reaching the highest shelf with ease that you took for granted. Also, you can no longer see over the bigger things as your vantage point has shrunk. You would also need to walk faster as short people need to do a little jog to keep up with tall people and their long legs. You would also realize that everyone that you see is taller than you. Are you the only short person in the world? No, the other short people are hidden behind the bodies of other tall people, so that is why you cannot see them. You can't see them and they can't see you, thanks to the tall people. Now when you return to your body, you will also not develop FOMO. But whenever you will see a short person, you will have FOTPIMO. The fear of that person is missing out. You will now also understand why most short people are always angry and mean. They are living life on a hard mode. So ending up in a different size person is also not going to be a fun experience. Scenario 6. Person of a different profession. Let's assume that you are a professional artist and you have a thriving career as the said artist. However, on the day of the merge, you end up in a body of a person who is a surgeon. things cannot turn out as worse as this scenario. Hell, the previous scenarios are still not as bad as this one. In this scenario, ending up in a body of a person with a vastly different profession to yours is a huge problem. If you end up in a body of another creative person, then there is a chance that you will be able to do a little bit of that job. However, if you end up in a person whose profession is a different ball game, and only way to avoid this problem is by taking a day off perhaps, that could work if the job is not very demanding. But if you're a doctor, then that might be difficult to achieve. So hang in there until the day is over, I guess. The real problem with merge. Now, looking at these scenarios one at a time may not be too bad. However, you are not going to get one scenario at a time. You will always get a mix of them. So, you may end up in a body of an extroverted old doctor that has a full schedule of work, and then after that, other things planned for their evening. So you wake up to extreme inconvenience. But there are other scenarios that have not been discussed, like imagine waking up in a criminal's body or in a body that is near death. And if that body is near death, does our soul die with them and they get to live on in another body? How does that system work? We cannot be sure. Another thing that you need to remember is that when you are not in your body, someone else is. So, what if that person is a creepy one who memorizes your address and then comes back to your house? Also, if you live in a shared space like with your family and roommates, then on the day of the merge, everyone in your house will be a stranger. Then again, if you live alone and someone else is in your body while you are away, then the whole house is at their mercy. I don't know which scenario in these two would be the worst. All in all, I think if someone asks me, who would you be if you can be anyone for a day? My answer will be me. I will always prefer to be me. Having our own traumas is bad enough. Becoming someone else and gathering trauma from that experience is a big no-no. This is not Easter and we are not going to be hunting traumas. We stay where it is safe, and that would be our own bodies. Well, this was Anxiety, a video. I have been me and you have been great. If you enjoyed this weird video, subscribe for the future videos and I will see you next time. Bye.